Good morning, garden friends. Today I'm going to be working on the beds on the entrance way into my cut garden area. One of the things that my focus this year is about with the garden is being intentional. I want to be able to have the garden be a reflection of the style of our home and then the other areas that surround our home. And so what I'm going to be doing today is all of my larapi, any of my daylilies, what else do I got in here? Some black-eyed Susies. I'm getting all of those dug out along with my wisteria. I thought it was going to do good here, but what transpired is it didn't bloom as vigorous as it should have. While they like sun, my full sun garden is too harsh for it because the flowers would start to bloom and then they would dry out because of the heat. So I'm going to be digging those guys out and placing some Pencil Hollies here because I also want to be able to have some evergreen in the garden. So the first thing I'm going to do is get all the plants dug out. I did get some new plants that I'm going to put in here, and I'll share with you what those are once I get these plants dug out. Now I am going to utilize them elsewhere in the garden because I don't throw away plants, but I just want this area in front of the garden to be a complement to how my courtyard garden looks. So let me go and get my tools and my wagon because that's where I'm going to put my plants that I dig up, and so that I can go ahead and get them planted elsewhere in the garden. And like you guys know, when I dig up plants, I like to get them right back into the ground to reduce any type of shock to them. So let me go ahead and get my tools. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the little small plants out of here because the wisteria is only a little over a year. And, just in some research with it being relatively young, I need to be able to dig out around it about 18 inches so that I'm not impacting the root ball, seeing that I'm going to be transplanting it. But I first want to be able to get the small plants out first to where I have a good visual of seeing the area around the wisteria. And this is the thing, I have daffodils in here because the other side that mimics this, they're coming up. I don't know if the squirrels got to them. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but here is a root from the wisteria. So I'm glad that I'm getting the plants that are surrounding it out of the way. Yeah, it goes all the way out to here. So I'm a good distance to be able to dig these guys up. Now my rose bushes are going to stay in here. I'm going to go ahead and de-leaf them before I start putting the new plants in here. Now this is my heather. It looks like from the freeze, it got damaged. But the roots look good, so what I might end up doing, and there's still some green on here, to where I'll just go ahead and clean it up and get it planted. I got a larapi over here that I didn't cut back. And I do see some bulbs back here. I must have forgot that I had planted them back here when I put my Sunshine Ligustrum. But that's okay, because I'll just end up moving them so they get more of the sun. And where I'm going to be putting these guys, they'll be able to have the sun that they need, so it shouldn't be too much of a shock. All right, so I got all the plants out on this side done. Let me go ahead and start on the wisteria. And seeing that I can see where the roots have extended out, I'm just going to go that far out. The straggly ones, it won't hurt. I just want to make sure the root ball itself doesn't get damaged. Oh, wow. I can see that root here. Wow. They did say the roots go out this way. Wow. I might have to get Kevin to come out and pull this. Wow, for only a year and a half, these roots are in there. Wow, these roots go a long way. Guys, I think it went underneath the fence. Woo! That was almost as bad as the Texas Vertex. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and dig through here. Make sure no roots are there so that they don't start growing. And then I'm gonna lay out the plants that I'm gonna put in, and then I'll get back on. All right, so this is how I am going to be placing the plants that I got from Growers Outlet in this bed. So I have the Pencil Holly. I have my Shasta daisies. I have some dianthus, a swoop of those. And there are daffodils that are there that I moved so they wouldn't be buried back there like they were. Put the violas and pansies. I got a blue ficus that I think is going to look really pretty there. Those are my wallflowers, and I think those are either pink or white. And then I just think this just looks so colorful in this bed. So let me go ahead and start getting these guys planted. I trimmed back and de-leafed my rose bush. That's my coral double knockout. And when that baby gets all its blooms on it, it is so breathtaking. So let's go ahead and get these plants planted in here. And then I'm just gonna mimic this on the same side, on that side. Got all of the larapi and my daylilies out of there. Those are like a unique daylily that I love. But as you can see, the frost really did a number on it, but I'm gonna plant those guys elsewhere. Now, because the holly gets 18 inches wide, I got it measured to make sure that it doesn't end up hitting the fence and then the sun can hit it at all angles. So because this is the anchor plant, I'm gonna go ahead and get that planted first, and then I'll go and get the perennials and the annuals planted. I'm just gonna put some blood meal in here because it helps keep the leaves nice and green. Just look at it, make sure it's even and centered. Look at that, guys. Still more of the wisteria. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these guys in, get the other side done, and then I will show you once it's all done, because I am gonna go ahead and get this bed mulched. All right, so I got the other side of the bed done. And as you guys know, I like things to mimic. So pretty much did the same layout, but as you know, our garden is on a slope. So this bed is a little thinner than the other, but when you guys see it all put together, you will see it is very cohesive. So let me go ahead and get the mulch on this bed, and then this entranceway into the raised garden bed and greenhouse area will be completed. All right, the beds are done and they look so very nice and finished. And I love the symmetry of the beds, of tons of color that will be popping through. Now, the one thing that I am making sure I do this season is getting all of my plants labeled. And I'm actually using these guys because they'll blend in nicely with the mulch, won't be too overpowering. And then I hope that the marker won't fade off, because I did get the one that stated it was waterproof and for outside. Well, guys, this ended up turning out so nice, and I love how the Pencil Hollies are my structural shrubs that are gonna lead into the greenhouse and raised garden bed area. That just looks so nice. I love it. And the good thing about those hollies, I think they'll get about 6 foot tall. And I think that'll be really nice to have as a focal point. And then also give me some winter interest, like a lot of the perennials that I have in here. But it looks good. And this is where I ended up putting the larapi all along the side of this bed. Likes full sun. And then I like the fact of being able to have some contrasting color with my Wigelis. This here is my Rose of Sharon, that I believe is pink. And then my fire bushes that are in here. Now, one of the things that we've been doing is, because the yard is on a slope, you see how rocks end up getting buried. And a lot of that has to do with, like I said, being on a slope. We're going to be stacking the rocks up this way. So we have more definition in between the ground and the bed. So that's something that Kevin's going to be working on. But this is where I end up putting. I'm going to go ahead and get that guy trimmed back. Oh, looky, my gladdies are popping up. And you know, garden friends, most gardens don't struggle because of flowers. It's because they lack structure. And I came to realize that's what I was missing in my front entrance to my raised garden beds and the greenhouse. And I think I accomplished that. Tell me what you guys think. Did I accomplish adding structure to the entrance into my raised garden bed and greenhouse area? Well, thank you again for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner. And if you enjoy my content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. I so appreciate it. Have a great day. Hope you can get into your garden today.